Thank you very much indeed, Samuel Peter. This is the pictures that the audience here are seeing of the man who calls himself a Nigerian nightmare ahead of this big fight. They're just building it up, and they know how to build up a fight here, I have to tell you. There is Samuel Peter on his way, and the word is that he has trained very, very hard and well for this fight, and that hasn't always been the case with him. He was poor against Vladimir's brother, Vitaly, in a heavyweight title fight. That was when Vitaly was making his comeback, but he does have power, and I know a couple of people out in the States who've had a shrewd bet at him at decent odds for this fight, Glenn.
Well, he's got to think this is a great opportunity he's been given. Probably didn't think it would come again after putting Klitschko on the floor 3 times and looking so dangerous. But he finds himself back in the ring with a man that now he probably believes that he can probably finish the job. So he's going to be full of it. I think that's why he's lighter, that's why he's training harder, because he thinks this is his last chance to do something special.
I have to tell you, this fight is a real happening here. The arena, which is the home of Eintracht Frankfurt Football Club, the former European Cup finalists way back in 1960 when Real Madrid beat them 7-3, one of the great finals. This crowd here holds 48,000. They've got over 40,000 in here. Some people at ringside sipping champagne, turning up in their finery. It's almost like a Royal Ascot experience, a place to be seen. Very different from a British show. And it's amazing that they can sell this many tickets for Wladimir Klitschko, who is, after all, not a German.
Yeah, it just shows how much they love this sport, and obviously Klitschko's very, very familiar and very famous here. They really, really like him, and they've turned out, and this is an absolute, it's a real star-studded happening.
It is a gala night here. Samuel Peter looks to spoil it and cause a big, big sensation. It would be too if he won. And we now await Klitschko's entrance.
Remember 44 years ago.
And 44 years ago,
Legendary Muhammad Ali versus Germany's own Karl Mildenberger.
and it happened here in Frankfurt.
Right here in Frankfurt. And now here in the very same place, heavyweight world championship history has returned, but now it's Klitschko time. Coming to the ring, the defending world heavyweight champion, Dr. Steel Hammer, Wladimir Klitschko.
Ich beobachte genau jede Bewegung von Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali ist wirklich das Zeichen für den Sport, für den Willen, für was Gutes.
be hypocritical to be angry at another person for doing what they believe and then at the same time expecting them to respect me for what I believe. So I can't get on nobody. I don't have no hard feelings against nobody.
Ich möchte diesen Kampf gewinnen. Das werde ich heute Abend auch tun. Genauso wie Muhammad Ali damals vor 44 Jahren.
Go like it butterfly, sing like a bee. Oh, rumble, young man, rumble. Oh.
Well, that's one of the most brilliant and innovative ring entrances that I have ever seen, Glenn.
It certainly is great the way they've done that, and it just gives you an idea of how big this is and what an event it is and what it means to the people here. Really is fantastic.
Wladimir Klitschko entering the very arena, although it has been rebuilt since the days when Muhammad Ali fought Karl Bildenberger here back in 1966, stopping him in the 12th round. Well, Wladimir Klitschko is a massive star here, but he's got some way to go, really. I think before he excites people in America in the same way that Muhammad Ali did all the rest of the world.
Well, yeah, I think they were giving honor really to Muhammad Ali there. He's a very good champion, but you know, he is Dr. Steel Hammer. You know, he's not Dr. Steel Chin. And that's the problem with him.
It's quite an entrance with fireworks mixed in here. You can always tell when there's a big fight in a town. Everyone we've spoken to since we arrived in this town knows this is happening this week. Are you going to the fight? First question everybody asks.
It is a huge happening here, and it tells by the massive crowd, and they're in for a special fight because the last one was full of drama, and I feel this one will be too.
34 years of age, the younger of the two boxing brothers, Wladimir Klitschko, who holds the IBF and WBO versions of the heavyweight title. David Hay has the WBA version, and Vitaly Klitschko is WBC champion.
Gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, willkommen, welcome to the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF, IBO, WBO Heavyweight Championship of the World. Presented by K2 Promotions and KMG in association with Top Rank Boxing. Sanctioned by the BDB, President Artur Ellison. The IBF, President Darrell Peoples, and represented by Chairman here at ringside tonight, Lindsey Tucker. The IBO President, Ed Levine, and the WBO President, Francisco Paco Barcarcel. At ringside, the three judges scoring, should this bout go the distance, will be from the United States, Steve Weisfeld, from Great Britain, Mickey Van, and from Poland, Paweł Cardini. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, from the United States, World Championship veteran referee Robert Byrd. And now, for the 40,000 fans in attendance here in Frankfurt and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with blue, standing with his trainer Abel Sanchez, and officially weighing in at 109.5 kilograms. His professional record, an excellent one. 37 fights, 34 victories, including 27 knockouts with 3 defeats. Originally from Nigeria, now training and fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. He's the challenger, former WBC World Heavyweight Champion, the Nigerian Nightmare, Samuel Peter. And fighting out of the red corner, standing with his head trainer, Hall of Famer Emmanuel Stewart, wearing red with gold, official weight 112 kilograms. This Olympic champion now has a professional record consisting of 57 fights, 54 victories, including 48 knockouts and 3 defeats. From Kiev, Ukraine, and Hamburg, Germany, the 3-time world champion, reigning, defending IBF, IBO, WBO, heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steel Hammer, Wladimir Klitschko.
Klitschko unbeaten now in the last 6 years and 12 fights.
With the national anthem of Nigeria. And now the national anthem for Ukraine.
Well, it's been quite a build-up. This fight to be refereed by 67-year-old Robert Byrd in his 108th world title fight. And he will deliver final instructions.
You only had your instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to remind you of now, when I say stop, that means stop whatever you're doing and give me a clean break. Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Both of you have been world champions. I expect you to conduct yourself in a professional, competitive manner. Let's do it.
Well, is he a Nigerian nightmare again? Samuel Peter. He's in top shape. He floored Wladimir Klitschko 3 times 5 years ago in Atlantic City, but still lost the fight in the end on points.
Noch 10 Sekunden bis zum Kampf.
Here we go, 12 rounds for the IBF and WBO versions of the heavyweight championship of the world. Now will Peter try to wing away with those big hooks early on here? He is a concussive hitter, and he's come in lighter for this fight than he did for the one 5 years ago. He's only 30 still might have a bit in the tank, although he's had to fight his way back in some minor contests in recent times.
Well, he's trying to roll in under the jab, reminiscent of Joe Frazier, trying to get the left hooks off.
Big reach advantage for Wladimir Klitschko. 6 feet 6 inches tall he is. Peter's 6 feet 2. He looks a bit smaller than that, doesn't he? The battle lines here reminiscent of a fight between Lennox Lewis and David Tua, who was another sawn-off, stocky little puncher himself. Lewis dominated behind the jab in that particular fight, and I think Wladimir Klitschko will look to do that again. Here, a left hand gets in there from Peter.
Yeah, the legs just wobbled a little bit there when he caught him with that left hook.
And a right hand too from Peter, who was briefly WBC champion when Vitaly Klitschko was off the scene with injury. He lost that championship to Vitaly in the comeback fight.
Well, Samuel Peter's got 8 KOs in the first round, so he starts well, but interestingly enough, Klitschko has 11 in the first round, so he can punch a little bit early as well.
And he might have the reputation of being a safety-first operator, Wladimir Klitschko, but he's stopped now his last 4 and 8 of his last 9 opponents.
Well, over the years, you know, he has been tagged, he has been beaten inside schedule, but he's learned from that, he's used his head, and I think in recent fights, his defense has been better.
Quite a good start, though, by Peter. He will be dangerous, particularly, I'd say, in the first 3 rounds. Klitschko, though, whipping in a couple of good right hands as well in this first round.
Yeah, that was excellent. He needs to get that jab working so he can get the range and then bring that right hand in. That's a powerful punch.
It's a pretty good start to this fight.
And Klitschko, for me, over the last 5 years, has improved more than Peter. And he'll be looking to put a performance on, an explosive one.
He wants to send out a statement every time and get the American TV paymasters back interested in the Klitschko brothers. They haven't been showing them on HBO in America. Welcome back to Frankfurt. Emmanuel Stewart in the corner with Klitschko.
Everything go back to the jab out there in exchange.
It's way back in the early 1980s when Emmanuel Stewart had his first world champion, Hill McKenty, at lightweight. There was a guy called Thomas the Hitman Hearns, you might remember, not long after.
Yeah, and a few others. The list has gone on from them.
He's been around forever. Second round. Red trunks of Wladimir Klitschko, Dr. Steelhammer, as he's nicknamed, from the Ukraine, but very much an adopted German, really. Peter looking to go for it again, this time with the right hand.
Well, it's important for Klitschko to use that jab, to get that working. That's his range find. It's a solid punch, but he gets the leverage from that for the right hand.
Again, a big right hand, a thudding right hand from Wladimir Klitschko. Once or twice he has been soporific, not so much lately. Wladimir. Spectacular KO of Eddie Chambers, a lights-out one, and he was very good against Ruslan Chagayev in front of a crowd of 61,000 in Gelsenkirchen.
But this is an aggressive start from Klitschko. He wants to make a statement.
Some thudding shots going in from Klitschko, who was supposed to fight Alexander Povetkin, the highly rated Russian, tonight, but that fight was off. But Peter was already in training, apparently, knowing that that fight was likely to fall through and he would get the chance. Lovely right hand again. Wladimir Klitschko, he looks a more confident operator than we saw even 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, he looks solider and stronger. very educated, and he's boxing well here. He hurt Peter there.
These are big right-hand punches, they really are. He had to blink, really, with the pain of that. They've shaken him up. There's a low blow in all of that. Warning from Robert Bird to Peter. Another right hand. He can't miss with that shot. If he keeps on taking that, it might be curtains for Peter.
Yeah, wild there. He's so slow now, Peter. He's not getting to Klitschko fast enough. The footwork is not good.
In that last fight, Peter had Klitschko down twice in round 5 and once in round 10, but still did not dispute the decision, because Wladimir landed many, many more punches, twice as many, said the computer. And another right hand. It's the honey punch for him here, working it off the jab as he so often does. He has a way of making every fight work to his plan, and that is ring generalship and craft.
Yeah, and he's boxing very well here. Peter not getting close, walking forward like he's got leaden boots on. Peter.
Dominant Wladimir Klitschko as we come towards the end of round 2. It's been another big round. Peter's taken a lot, maybe too many. Well, there's Samuel Peter. So far, it's him who's having the nightmare.
All right? Just make sure that we go up the middle sometimes, not always outside.
Abel Sanchez, the trainer.
And look at his eyes. It looks as if he's been hurt in there.
Not always outside, up the middle sometimes, okay? And get your body down. Don't be standing so straight up.
He's finding this hard. You can see that from those close-up pictures in the corner in this fabulous arena. It's quite a sight, isn't it? Don't let anybody tell you that Wladimir Klitschko is not a big star in this part of the world. Here's round 3, red trunks from Wladimir Klitschko. Another right hand, 34 years of age. He could go on for a while longer yet, and you can see here the problems that David Haye, or maybe Audley Harrison, would face were they in the ring with him. He is pretty imposing, isn't he?
He is imposing, but I think this sort of style really suits him because he's so slow-footed, Peter. He's got the time to move away, get the jab on, come back with that right hand, and he's looking really good here, Klitschko.
Does Peter have the speed of footwork to get himself in range to land his punches? He's got a roll in the style of an old style Joe Frazier, hasn't he, really, to get inside and pass that jab?
Yeah, but he hasn't the speed or the ability of someone as great as Frazier.
No.
But he does have power.
But it's no good having the power if you can't get into positions to land the punches.
And that's the problem for him so far.
He did land a good left hook, mind you, in the very first round, early on. It's always, though, that ingredient with this one, that one punch from Peter could turn the fight on its head in a split second.
Well, that's the danger. As long as he's in there, he's dangerous.
I mean, you and I were there 7 years ago when Corey Sanders, who'd virtually retired, was only there for the pay night, came in and obliterated Wladimir Klitschko in 2 rounds, flooring him 4 times.
Yeah, he did that with power and speed.
He can be vulnerable, but he's looked less vulnerable in recent times, it must be said. And he's not looked that vulnerable here so far anyway.
He's just boxing at long range, and then when Peter gets close, he ties him up, doesn't let Peter work inside.
Which is smart tactics, obviously devised with Emmanuel Stewart, obvious ones really, but they have to be carried out. And all the time he tries to get into range, he's walking into that ramrod jab, which is like a big telegraph pole, shooting out and hitting you in the face every time you try to close the range.
Getting closer with that left hook there, Peter.
After all, he knew what the problems were going to be in this fight.
Still tying Peter up.
But still, very much Vlad's show here. Peter is largely frustrated. It's Wladimir Klitschko on top. Welcome back to Frankfurt. Not a Frankfurt special so far for Samuel Peter.
So everything is going the way that we planned, except
he's walked into a few Frankfurt specials.
But you're slipping the way that we wanted, all right? Now, you can move your hands. Deep breath.
He's got to somehow get hit a whole lot less. That isn't going to be easy.
Yep, that's taking a lot out of him. He's got to avoid that right hand.
He has beaten good fighters like Jeremy Williams, James Toney a couple of times, Jamil McLean and Oleg Maskayev, Peter, and gave all that trouble to Wladimir Klitschko the first time they met. But there it is again, that right hand, and it sends the sweat spraying from the head of Peter every time it lands.
All the time he lies on Peter. He'll be just sapping a bit of strength when he puts them big arms on his shoulders and pushes down.
Absolute class shot there from Wladimir Klitschko, who was the Olympic champion all of 14 years ago now in Atlanta. He was only 20 then, beaten only by Ross Purity as a youngster, then by Corey Sanders as described, and by Lamont Brewster when he complained about low blood sugar levels and unraveled in the 5th round. Long time ago though now, that 2004, his last defeat.
Not getting his shots off as well in this round. Klitschko just lying on Peter a bit too much. Crowd not liking that.
Again, Peter tries to edge into range, gets hit with a right hand for his trouble. Just can look a bit plodding and laborious. If he had the speed to go with the power, it would be a different proposition again, I suggest.
Yeah, I think it would be. But Klitschko neglecting the jab a little bit. He needs to get that working. That's really important for his tactics. He's got a good, solid jab, but just missing with that.
Slightly messy around, and the uppercut didn't land either that time for Wladimir Klitschko.
Now doing nothing of any significance in this round, Klitschko.
He's just gone into slightly more cautious mode and freewheeled a little in this session. Just not quite the same level of confidence. You never know if a fighter's having a little problem of some sort in there. I can only tell you that later. Here he goes with the left hook. Peter traveled a long way, too far, easily blocked. It's a nice short little left hook that would be ideal for him, a la Joe Louis.
Don't worry about the power.
Here's the Klitschko corner.
Okay, now we just gotta keep working. We just gotta keep working it. Right? You cannot stop. Move, boom, move. And every time you move, you gotta throw. Dry him right here. Yeah, top.
Great jab, isn't it, from Klitschko? It's his stock weapon. The punch he uses to dominate nearly all of his fights. Here's the 5th round. Klitschko in red, defending his WBO and IBF heavyweight championships here. And a massive favorite to do so pre-fight, despite being floored 3 times by this opponent in their previous fight.
Well, Emmanuel Stewart in the corner was calling for him to get back on the jab, Klitschko, and start to get the punches off. Not to look to lean on him, just to get his hands working.
He's a hard man to stop, mind you, this Samuel Peter. Only one man has done that, and that's Vitali. Peter had to retire after 8 rounds that night. That was back in 2009, last year. Tell you what, those eyes are closing a bit at Peter's.
Yes, the right eye starting to close. He's trying to bob and weave, Peter, but he's not getting the punches off.
He's not good enough at doing that, is he, really, to cause Klitschko a problem? Not at the moment, anyway.
Stop, like that. Step out, step out, step out, step out.
Can he take advantage of the fragility of Wladimir Klitschko's chin, which is admitted? They couldn't really help it when he's been on the floor 11 times in his career.
Just doing more now. He's trying to just get the shots off now, Klitschko. Not looking for the power, but just looking to do something. That's exactly what Emmanuel Stewart wanted him to do. Following those instructions well.
That's the second little cautionary word for Peter about low blows. Just not letting Peter close enough. Keeping him out of the way with the jab.
Well, he switched on again in this round, hasn't he, Klitschko? Getting the punches off.
Come on, stop. Free up your hands, guys. Free up. You got a hand free.
4-pound weight advantage tonight, by the way, for Klitschko. 17 stone 6 pounds, playing 17 stone 2 for Peter, who of course is not nearly so tall. Just can't miss him with that right hand most of the time. Those eyes could become a problem for Peter. They are beginning to just look like slits. Well, what a scene it is here at the Eintracht Frankfurt football stadium.
Yeah. Getting messy, but Peter trying to get the shots off. He just can't get in room and get the shots through quick enough, Peter. And that was a better round for Klitschko.
They've got to be at work with that ends well, as it's known, on those eyes of Peter. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Hard enough when you can see properly.
Just a little bit back and let the right hand when he's punching, not when he's looking for you to throw right hand. You hit it.
As Vitali there, his brother, the WBC champion, working the corner. They'll never fight each other. They've made that clear time and again, no matter how curious some people seem to be about what might happen if they did meet. It isn't going to happen.
No, it never should.
No, I agree with you. Here's round 6. I haven't given Peter a round so far. What about you, Glenn?
I give him a share of the 4th, but that's all I've given, and that was really because Klitschko just switched off and didn't do anything.
By the way, among the judges tonight, 67-year-old ex-British referee Mickey Vann, who's still as fit as a flea and has been telling us he still plays rugby league. Another ex-British ref, John Coyle, is here as a supervisor as well for the IBO. Their version of the title is also at stake here.
Another solid right hand landing to the head of Peter.
I mean, he has the cliched puncher's chance, doesn't he, Samuel Peter? But how often does that puncher's chance come up in a fight? He's going to need more than this. He doesn't look at the moment as if he has the answers to Wladimir Klitschko.
And it looks as if these early rounds have took an awful lot out of him. He looks a little battered, and, you know, doesn't look as if he's got the hunger to get those shots on.
He's not finding Wladimir much easier than he found Vitaly.
No. And that eye, right eye, getting worse.
And he's looking the worse for where he tries to get the right hand home, does Peter, but it doesn't land flush, and that's what he needs, one jackpot punch.
He's looking to try and bring the punches up now. Klitschko senses that the head's coming down of Peter.
And there's a softening up process going on here as well. You just cannot keep taking those sickening jabs and big thudding right hands and expect to last 12 rounds.
No, they are hard, hard punches from a very fit man.
Who, as we've been saying, is used to stopping his opponents now, though he didn't stop Peter the last time they met. But he stopped just about everybody else in recent times except Sultan Ibrahimov in New York. And that was I think that was the worst performance of his career. It was a terrible fight and an insult to Madison Square Garden. But he's improved a good deal in the fight since then.
Well, Peter's on a final warning for low blows. He's coming in very low. Beautiful right uppercut. Met him there when he came in low, though.
One-sided. It really is, so far, all Klitschko. Look how fresh he looks.
This is okay to bring it right up between the gloves. And as soon as you get in the clinch, try to get away right up quick, because he's tired. I know, as soon as you get in the clinch, don't even go for it. Try to get back right away.
There's that solid left hand. Some good punches from Klitschko. And you hear Emmanuel Stewart, he senses that Peter is ready for the taking, that if he can just get away from him, get the punches off, bring them up, get those solid blows on, doesn't feel as much left for Samuel Peter.
Wonder what David Hay and Audley Harrison are thinking watching this. We'll probably find out in a day or so. They haven't been short of a word or two. What was it he said yesterday, Wladimir, when I interviewed him? No, that's just the London Championship.
That's right.
Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? But I think they know that him against Hay or Vitaly against Hay, should he get past Audley Harrison, of course, is the big money fight in this division. Because apart from them, the cupboard is a bit bare, if we're honest with you, and as you probably know by now.
Peter walks straight into a short left hook.
He just needs something to encourage him here, Samuel Peter, instead of just walking onto shots, which is what he's done most of the night here. Been game though, isn't he? Very game.
Yeah, he's been game, but not much more. He's just plodding forward. He hasn't got the foot speed to get in the range and get those punches off.
Another left hook this time. And the German fans here rise in adoration, I'd put it like that, of Wladimir Klitschko. Some of them on their feet. They're enjoying his domination of this fight. Going to take a good guy to beat him.
It really is. And that eye, I think they're going to have a look at that.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like you can see. I know it's the tape of the glove. They're not worried about the eye yet.
They might be soon. That right eye is virtually closed, but that is not the problem at the moment. It's the tape on the glove. I tell you what, Samuel Peter will take any respite he can get at the moment.
Yeah, that might be a problem for the referee, but I think the eye's a problem for Peter. He was rubbing it as he went to the corner. Rubs it again.
And as well as he's trained for this fight and as sharp as he's looked in sparring, actually fighting Wladimir Klitschko is proving a very, very different experience, and reality is crowding in on him. He must be sick of these Klitschko brothers by now.
He certainly must. They've been a bit of a nightmare to him, haven't they? But Klitschko looking better than ever.
The only real danger maybe for Wladimir Klitschko now would be complacency or a moment of carelessness. Lovely right hand, another thudding shot, crashing home.
Well,
I wonder if the Peter corner, it'll get to the point after about 8 rounds of this, whether they'll think about taking him out of here.
Yeah. It could go like that. He's looking dejected in there. Peter lost any sort of spark. Klitschko's still got the bounce in his legs, and he's loosening up, and that'll mean he'll get his punches off better.
Sets it up with the jab. It's the old 1-2, isn't it, really? Left jab, right hand, as practiced by so many fighters in a tale as old as time. Works the treat.
Yeah, technically he does nothing special. He does the basics very well. The jab works well, the straight right.
Another round in the bank. He's not lost one yet for me, Wladimir Klitschko. And in truth, it's extremely one-sided.
Yep. It's a painful old lesson for Samuel Peter as these right hands go thudding in. Thunderous right hand, and look at the eyes. It's getting so hard in there.
It's a good pay night this for Samuel Peter, but my goodness me, he's earning it. Look at these shots, really. It's becoming a bit of a beating, isn't it, now?
And the crowd who are seeing these shots on big screens all over this arena applaud their man's work.
Yeah, they're trying to lift him, and that was interesting, wasn't it? Abel Sanchez saying in the corner, "You don't look like you want to fight to me."
No, the spirit for me is beaten. He's just got to finish the job off.
Eighth round, and it was at the end of the 8th that Vladimir's brother Vitaly got the job done when Peter retired. I wonder if he might be retired here. Judging by those words in the corner, that thought might be starting to cross their minds, because this is just beginning to look like a fight, barring him landing one big boomerang punch, like a fight he can't win.
Yeah. But at the moment, it's Klitschko who's landing the booming punches. More from him.
Cheers echo from the 40,000 fans here. That, by the way, is our estimate, and it looks all of that looking around.
And it's a one-sided beating, but the crowd are loving it.
Watch the holding, says Robert Bird to Peter. That's the least of his problems. And the money keeps rolling in for Wladimir Klitschko too, handsomely paid in Germany. He's got a home in Beverly Hills. He speaks 4 languages. He's got a PhD. It's all going quite well, one way and another.
Not doing much wrong, is he? And he's not doing much wrong tonight.
It's a long old career now as well. He's been on the go since 1996, 14 years. This is his 58th fight. He's only lost 3 of them. Another right hand, short, clubbing right hand.
And these punches, even if he catches them around the side of the head or on the shoulders, they're all hurtful. They're all taking something out of Peter.
I think for a while now, Samuel Peter has had to go very deep into the well to find the reserves of courage to even try to carry on the battle. It's looking a hopeless cause.
It certainly is, and I'd like to see Klitschko throw the jab, then look for that right uppercut. Just as he dips his head, look to bring the punch up.
Stop. I got you. Stop. Here we go.
Burns from the ring ropes on the back of Wladimir Klitschko. A right hand there after the referee had said break.
Well, the referee took that one quite well.
And he's 67.
So maybe Peter's punch power's just gone a little bit.
8 rounds gone. Now what goes on in the Peter corner here? Let's listen.
Okay, now step in with a jab, 2 jabs. Let's do something else. Come on, he's ready for you to hit him.
There's the solid, powerful jab.
He's opening up. So now if you don't move your hands, you're just letting him work. All right? What are we doing here?
And then the right hand. That's what he's looking for.
Is that it for you? Huh? No, well then show me something. All right? You tired?
And then on the break,
You're not tired, so why are we moving our
gets
hands?
a right hand on Peter.
Let's go, here.
He was asking him then, is that it for you?
Look at me.
The doctor's looking on.
Okay, hey, then show me. Show me, or I'm telling you. I ain't gonna let you take punishment, Sam. All right?
Well, it's interesting. I'm not going to let you take punishment. So the thought's beginning to cross his mind about whether he should let this fight go very much longer.
Well, I think it has to.
Well, he's lasted longer with Wladimir than he did with Vitaly, but how much longer?
All right, stop.
Let's see if he can do what the corner wanted and bring in a big round.
The referee's had quite a lot to say, hasn't he, to Samuel Peter? Strangely, nothing at all to Wladimir Klitschko.
Now,
he's obviously blameless, completely.
well, you know, he hasn't said anything about him leaning on. I know Peter's got his head down. Well, he's lent on him an awful lot.
No. Don't put. Go.
Now, there was a little word there, right on cue for Wladimir. Maybe he was listening.
Your hands are free. Your hands are free.
Very respected referee, we should say. Robert Bird, 108 world title fights behind him. Again, there's spontaneous applause around the arena. They just like to see this fellow carry on winning. And they really do get behind these German-based fighters. Remember Henry Masker, who wasn't that exciting. He packed the place out every time. So did Sven Otka, who wasn't exactly Mr. Adrenaline Rush.
That's right. No, they really support and get behind their fighters. Big sense of occasion, you know, and he's winning well, and they just love that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And it looks like the success story is going to carry on here for Wladimir Klitschko.
But nothing really of any note at all coming from Peter. And I think the corners, we've got to take that in mind. It doesn't look as if he can do anything now.
The trouble is that, you know, if they don't make a fight with David Haye, I know he's got the Audley Harrison fight, but if they don't make that fight, Who does he fight? I mean, he was supposed to fight Povetkin. We'd like to see that one, I guess. Somebody even was saying that he might fight Jean-Marc Mormec, the former cruiserweight champion who lost to David Hay in Paris a while back.
Well, the two brothers, they've been mopping up all the challenges, haven't they? Mopping up the heavyweight division. So they're running out of challenges.
Just holding on, buying a bit of time. Peter, you're holding, says Robert Bird. Personally, I've got every sympathy with Peter to try and find any way through he can here. He's taken a lot. He's been immensely brave, really, to stick with this.
Yeah, he can't do anything in there. He knows it. And I think now it's a time when his corner should know it. He's giving distress signals there, rubbing the eye. He's trying to, for me, you know, fighters are always brave, but he wants out, you know. It's too hard.
Have they got that message? He stumbled back to the corner.
I'm going to give you one more in there, Sammy. Okay? I'm only going to give you one more in there.
They're going to give him one more round. But what's going to happen in one more round?
Well, I don't think that's giving him any kindness, to be honest. I think, you know, that's one more round. He's going to take punches.
It's going to be an ugly fight. I mean, it's a mismatch. I'm doing it. Get back right away. Don't stay in the clinches. You stay in the clinch, get back, just put punches together, and you stop the guy. But you don't. You never said, here go 12 rounds. Here go 12 rounds where you go, because he's the same weight. And stay out of the clinches.
Your hands are free. Work.
Yes. Yeah. But as soon as you get out of the clinches.
Just move your hands. Deep breath. Let's go.
Fascinating to listen in. Emmanuel Stewart, the perfectionist, not happy with Wladimir Klitschko. He thinks he should be going on and stopping this fella now.
Yes, he does. I think he doesn't like the holding on. That's not the way his fighters work. You know, he doesn't like the lean, and he wants him to throw the punches, and he knows he's ready to go. He just really needs an excuse to get him out of there, and a bunch of punches, a combination of punches, will do the trick.
And I think he's maybe absorbed that message. He might really go for it here. In any event, this might be the last round of this fight, because it could well be that Peter is pulled out by his corner at the end of this 3 minutes. If it's anything like everything we've seen so far.
Short right and left, and then two more land.
He might not last another 3 minutes, Mark.
No.
He's tottering.
That talks live, and Klitschko up. He's following orders now. He's going for the stoppage.
He's in a fog, I think, now, Peter. Swaying around on unsteady legs. Eyes nearly closed. Desperate gamble with the left hand. This must be so hard, so painful.
Peter's corner, I think, they're coming to stop it.
I think. He's all over the place. This fight has to be stopped. He's done with here, Samuel Peter, surely. Uppercut. Down he goes, and then eventually Robert Bird, who I think could have stepped in earlier there, does stop the fight without a count. For me, that should have been stopped 5-10 seconds earlier than it was. As it is, Wladimir Klitschko, totally dominant, wins again inside schedule, and is still the IBF and WBO heavyweight champion of the world. Let's hope the very, very brave Samuel Peter is okay. I think he took a few punches at the end there that he didn't need to take.
Yep, he certainly did. You know, he was beaten, demoralized, and you know, he got everything beaten out of him. And the crowd, almost to a person, are on their feet. They've thoroughly enjoyed this performance, and it was a very convincing win. He totally demoralized, took everything out of Peter. No drama, nothing like the last one.
Two questions here. Should the referee have come in sooner?
I would say yes, but I think the corner should have stopped it in the last round. They should have stopped it. Instead of giving him one round, you know, that was doing nothing for him whatsoever. They should have pulled him out, because he couldn't have done anything more.
You answered my second question in that answer. Should the corner, seeing him in that condition, have just said, that's it, we're going to save you from yourself here at the end of that previous round? You've answered it. Yeah, that's what I think too. But it was a spectacular end. in its way. Wladimir Klitschko, dominant throughout, really. Samuel Peter, my goodness me, that man has earned every single penny he's been paid for this.
Good punches from Klitschko.
So there it is, that's the finish. Wladimir Klitschko, like that, is still the heavyweight champion for the IBF and WBO.
Johnny Nelson.